Moshe travels a lot on business, and Moshe finds himself in Poinovich, and he goes to shul, and he starts talking to the shamus. We know what the shamus does. What does the shamus do?
He watches.
Yes, he's the gopher. Go for the car, go for my suit, go for the pushers. And the shamus says to him, Reb Yid, he says, Mr. Jew, I have a riddle for you. He says, what is it that is related to me, but it's not my brother? And Moshe says, I have no idea. He says, it's me. So Moshe says, oh, that's wonderful. I have to remember that one. So he goes home and he's in his own shul and he says to somebody, you want to hear a riddle? And says, sure, I love riddles. He says, what is related to me, but it's not my brother? I don't know what. He says, it's the shamus of Poinovich. Okay. I didn't tell it right. Let's try it.
No, don't.
Wait, I got it. How the shamus. Yes. All right. This is a story. I've tried this before. I had middling success. I will give it a better shot.
membership?
It's called Where Heaven and Earth Touch. It's by Danny Siegel, and he's been around for a while, or at least I haven't read his obituary, so he must be in good shape. And this is what it says. Okay. Rav Ashi said, don't live in a place where horses don't neigh and dogs don't bark. And don't live in a city where the Moshe travels a lot on business.
Sorry.
And Moshe finds himself in Poinovich.
All right, you're on. You're all set.
That was such a big hit. Let's try again. Rav Ashi said, don't live in a town where horses don't neigh and dogs don't bark. And don't live in a city where the mayor is a doctor. And don't marry two wives. If you marry two, marry a third. Of us, why? Well, two is a bad number. Really, you should never have two of anything. What, Paul?
Two is a bad number,
Yes, how do we know two is a bad number?
because if one goes out, then you're not alone, and there's still two people together.
Ah, okay. All
Wait.
right.
Could a woman have two husbands?
Sorry.
I have a feeling we're going to two wives.
A wife should get two husbands?
Oh, if a man can have two wives. Good point.
Yes, but that's because God is the third one. You like that? I just made it up. Okay, next. I'll tell you what it is. This is actually a Shavuot story. Shavuot, we have to eat what? Dairy, very good. So you've got to make cheese krepla, what we would call blintzes. And what happens is that the chassid goes to his Rebbe and he says, "Oh, Rebbe, I have such problems. No, my son, what is your problem? You see, Rebbe, I get very hungry on Shavuos, and I want to have two krepla, two cheese krepla." But the Rebbe says, "No, that's no good." He says, because two is bad. Pairs of anything is bad. I don't know why. I suppose this was invented by men because the women like the candles and the women have more sense. But he says, so what should I do? And the Rebbe says, eat one krepla, but make sure it's as big as two krepla. I'm sorry. That's as good as it gets. See, I'm having such bad luck with this book. There's all kinds of things. I tell you one more. No. This is about Hillel. Don't you like Hillel? He invented the golden rule. Let me try one more with it. What is this? The Hail Mary. Hail Mary. You're in the wrong place. Hail Moshe. I am extremely the wrong place. Okay, what happens is that there's this fellow, this Jewish guy who's living in Jerusalem, not unusual. And he bets his friend, he says, I bet you I can get the great Rabbi Hillel, who is known to be very patient. I can get him to lose his temper. And the other one says, I'll take that bet. Now it's Friday, about midday. And those of us who know what happens in Jerusalem back in the first century on Friday is what? People go to eat a pizza, people go to the public baths, or people sit around polishing their shoes.
Baths.
Yes. They had public baths. The Romans, I know the Romans have a bad reputation, but really they were very good for Jerusalem. They built an aqueduct, They, what was it? I found it mud and I left it stone, that kind of thing. So Hillel the Great is going to take a bath. And he gets his water wings and his towel and his washcloth and that nice shampoo he likes, and he goes to the baths. The guy watches him, and just as Hillel goes in and he counts off the guy to see if he's getting nice and wet, he calls, Hillel, is there a guy named Hillel here? So Hillel comes out, he's dripping wet, he's got the shampoo in his hair, he's pushing it out of his eyes, and he says, yes, my son, I am Hillel. You have a question. And the man says, why do the Babylonians have funny shaped heads? And which is really a waste of time if you're a great scholar, but he doesn't lose his temper, he's very patient, and he says, my son, why do the Babylonians have funny shaped heads? It's because their midwives are not very skilled, and they don't know exactly how to coax the baby out of the womb. He says, oh, okay, thank you very much, good Shabbos. Good Shabbos, says Hillel, goes back in the bath. The nudnik waits a couple more minutes. Hillel, is there a guy named Hillel here? So Hillel comes out. At this point, he has been oiled, because if you're oiled, this is a big deal at a Roman bath. So he's skidding all over the place, and he's slipping on the stairs. It's really a terrible thing. And the guy says, are you Hillel? He says, yes, I am Hillel. He doesn't say, you talked to me 3 minutes ago. He says, you have a question, my son. He says, yes. He says, why do the residents of Palmyra have squinty eyes? Why do the residents of Palmyra have squinty eyes, says Hillel? It's because they live in a sandy environment, and the sand gets into their eyes and makes them squinty. Oh, thank you very much. Goes in. His Hillel here comes out again, dripping wet, da. He says to him, why do the Ethiopians have wide feet? He says, why do the Ethiopians have wide feet? He says, because they live in a swampy country. He says, and the guy says, I pray to God there should never be another rabbi like you in Israel. He says, why would you say such a thing to me? He says, you caused me to lose 500 denarii. He says, you know, my son, better you should lose 500 denarii than I should lose my temper even once. Ta-da! That's it. That's all I got. Now I'm finished. It was long too.
Very.
Okay.
Nobody would believe any of this.
Oh, this is legend. Next, I wouldn't tell it now, but sometime, Paul, only for you, I'm going to tell about Georgie Jessel, who sends his mother a parrot. So,
I'm not sure.
oh, then you'll appreciate it. Okay.
The one that
Let's-
spoke 7 languages?
That's right. Don't give away the punchline. They don't know it. Don't know it.
Go ahead.
Okay, Georgie Jessel used to do a vaudeville routine. How old am I anyway? And he called this one a phone call to Mama. He says, hello, Mama. How you doing? He did all the voices himself. How you doing? He says, he says, little Moe Lee doesn't feel well. He says, so what did you do, Mama? Did you give him the pills? Oh, he wouldn't take the pills. If you didn't take the pills, put him in a banana. Put him on the line. Hello, Moe. Grandma tells me that you're going to feel better. Did you eat the banana? All except the seeds? Okay. Fun. See, those were the things. Well, tell her this. I'll tell about the parrot. He says, Mama, he says, did you get the parrot I sent you from South America? You cooked it? Mama, that was a very exotic and well-trained parrot. He spoke 7 languages. He should have said something. Yes, I said something. That's it. I'm done now for you. Okay, we're gonna light candles.
What was the answer was, and why didn't he say so?
I said that.
No, you missed that part.
I said he should have said something.
Not the same.
We missed it. Did you cook it?
Because she cooked it.
We didn't know that.
Okay, I said she cooked
It
it.
was vaudeville at work.
Yes.
Here,
He said they'll arrest me when the Japanese are in the lobby. No, they're not arrest me, they'll draft me. Oh, God. No more jokes, only serious things.
We were a Girl Scout at one time.
You shouldn't heckle the book from that. Yes, it's please God. That's the much you can. It's a thing like a drunken sailor and oh, of course. Burn your fingers.
It's gonna be a religious joke. It's Ivano, it's Ivano, the Hamlik, it's Ivano, it's Ivano. It's Ivano, it's Ivano, the Hamlik, me, me.
Shabbos, thank you very much. Nicely done. Okay. You come up to tell a joke?
God, I hope not.
Doesn't fly, this is a very tough. Plus, if my jokes were less than 500 years old. All right, let's take a look at page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hashavei, Malachei. All right, continuing with the Nefesh on page 14. So they loving God, compassion's gentle source, take my disposition and shape it to your will. Like a loving you. Before your glorious presence, on the will let your sweet love delight me with its thrill, because no other day will I ship. I will not away. I simply say, oh, lusty eyes, please, good God, to be alive. The worship of your presence. Amen. He will find strength and healing in God's side. For
He serves you, grateful with your
God. Page 15. Lechuleranina, 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 Adonai. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, the Karma Fana Bitoda. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, Bismirot Naria. Lechuleranina, 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 lechuleranina. Silently. Altak Shula Babachem Kimriva. This is 2, 4, 6. 6 lines from the bottom. 7 lines. Altak Shula Babachem Kimriva. Yom Bamavan Islamidvar. Asher Suni Avotechem. Echanuni Gamra Ufali. Arba'im Shana Kut Lidor. Omar Zoele Bapein, Ve'ein Lo Yadud Rachai, Asher Nishpati V'Api, Im Yavoun El Menuchati. Continuing on page 17. Let's read responsively. Well, let's do the whole thing. Adonai is sovereign, let the world rejoice. Together, God's throne is founded on justice. Though God be clouded from view, divine justice reveals God's presence. God's lightning illumines the earth. Fire consumes God's foes. Mountains melt like wax before Adonai. The earth trembles. The heavens proclaim God's righteousness. All people behold God's majesty. Shame covers those who worship idols. Those who take pride in revering images, which must themselves bow low before God. Hearing of your judgments, Adonai, Zion exults, and the cities of Judah rejoice. You are supreme over all the earth, highly exalted beyond all that is worshipped. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the faithful and saves them from the wicked. Light is stored for the righteous, joy for the honorable. Rejoice in Adonai, you who are righteous. Acclaim the holiness of God's name. And the last 2 lines of the heat. Orzaru al tzadiku l'Yisrael simcha, simchu, tzadikim Adonai, beholdu l'zecher kadisho. Continuing now. Yeah, let's do page 20. This is the song we generally sing when carrying the Torah around before putting it back. It is for the David, Abu Adonai, Abu Adonai, Abu Adonai, Yevot Shilo. Ishtachavu l'Adonai v'hadrat kodesh. Ol Adonai al hamayim El HaKavod Adonai Almayim Rabim, Kol Adonai HaKoach, Kol Adonai Tehadar, Kol Adonai Shover Harazim, Vayeshaver Adonai Et Arsei Halabano, Vayarkidem Kimo Egel, Lebanon Vesirion, Kilo Ben Reim, Kol Adonai, Osei Babotesh, Kol Adonai, Yachil Midbar, Yachil Adonai, Midbar Kadesh, Kol Adonai, Yichol Elayavot, Vayechesof Yarot, Uveichalo, Ulo Meher Kavod, Adonai Lahavol, Yashar, Vayeshev Adonai, Melech V'olam, Adonai Uz, V'yamo Yitain, Adonai Yivarech, Et Amo Shalom. Page 21. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Tala, B'nei Shabbat, Kabela, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Tala, B'nei Shabbat, Kabela. Keep and remember, both uttered as one, by our Creator beyond comparison. Adonai is one, His name is one, reflected in glory, in fame and in praise. Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kavod, B'nei Shabbat, Kabela. Come, let us reach Shabbat, Queen sublime, fountain of blessings in every clime, anointed and regal since earliest time. In thought she preceded creation 6 days. Lecha Dodi,
Lecha Kavod, B'nei Shabbat,
Please rise, page 22, fourth stanza. Koi the shalom, atem Allah, am b'simcha u'tzawa, tochem ule, am zivura, koi Allah,
Holy Allah, Lecha Dodi, Lecha Kavod, B'nei Shabbat, Kabela.
Please be seated, page 23, is more Shirion Asha Abba. O Yinavun Seva, B'Shelim Raranim Nidu, Le'akit Yashar Adonai, Suri B'La All right, we can put the Siddurim aside. It's time now to talk about the Parsha, and what a Parsha it is. Wow, it's a very exciting episode. It is the rebellion of Korach and his minions. Don't you love to say minion? Well, Korach ben Yitzhar, I write about his son, I made in my little essay there. But Korach himself was a member of the Levites. So wouldn't you think, being a Levi, he would have at least a vote as to whether he can serve God in the sanctuary? Yeah. Yes, you're a Levi. You can stand up for your Levitical rights, get your 10%. You know what they want, and they give the animal offerings, grain offerings, fruit offerings. You know, you have a guaranteed lock on peaches from South Carolina. Okay, all right. Well, Korach confronts Moses. Moses isn't very happy. At this point in his life, Moses cannot deal with the aggravation. All due respect, but if you're going to work with Jews, there's going to be a certain amount of aggravation. He's the only one. He's it. Many years ago, at a rabbi's convention, I met this rabbi who was the retiring senior rabbi of a very large temple in either Dallas or Houston. And I, at the time, was the one and only rabbi at the temple in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So obviously people were after me to appoint services, run the Hebrew school, visit the sick. If somebody, God forbid, passed away, I was responsible. And I didn't mind it. I mean, I love the work, but how many people does it take to run a one-person shul? Anyway, I said to him, I said, doesn't it make you nuts? Everybody chasing after you? He says, no. He says, you have to understand, it's Texas. We have a very large staff. There's me, I'm the senior rabbi, he said. There's also the associate rabbi, the assistant rabbi, the cantor, the assistant cantor, the executive director, the caterer. No, you don't understand. These are all separate people. He says, so when people join the shul, if they don't like the senior rabbi, they can always find somebody on staff whom they like. And that's how he survived for many, many years. I never wanted a mega temple. I like a temple where people, are people. I don't need this stuff with, going through channels and that kind of thing. Anyway, unfortunately, Moses did not agree with me because he was the one and only. Even though Jethro, his father-in-law, a few books before in the book of Exodus, had told him to appoint, delegate, always delegate, appoint. He was the judge. It was Moses' job in those days to sit in front of the Israelites. And the people had legal cases, if they had business disputes with each other, if they wanted to know if the chicken was kosher, if they wanted to know whether property rights had been violated, or somebody's ox had trampled on somebody's garden. That was all Moses. And finally, Jethro came along and said, listen, my boy, I love that. You're going to wear yourself out. It's like a bar of soap. Moses was not made out of soap, but he was getting worn out. He says, appoint judges of hundreds, judges of 50s, judges of 20s, judges of 10s. And then if all those judges cannot solve the legal dispute, let them come to you. And if you can't solve it, you can go to your God. And Jethro said, that's it, I'm out of here, and he left. You never find out anything about him again, which is a shame, because he was a really nice guy. Some days I would like to have lunch with Jethro rather than Moses. But in this instance, this guy Korach is there just to pick a fight. He's just there. He's Brigus. What is Brigus? Angry. He's always angry. He lives in a permanent state of anger. He feels he was passed over, get it, for the honor of being a Levite or serving God in the sanctuary. And what's worse, he has two guys with him, Datan and Abiram, or Dosan and Abiram, who were the guys who informed on Moses. When Moses came out, remember years before, Moses had left Pharaoh's palace. He's walking around. He's very upset. He sees his people are enslaved. He's starting to get a rising consciousness of his being Jewish. And he sees a slave he sees a taskmaster, an Egyptian taskmaster, beating on a Hebrew slave. So what does Moses do? He kills the taskmaster and buries his body in the sand. Personally, if you're surrounded by working people and you're digging a hole to hide a dead body, I would say, really, you just failed Law and Order 101. Okay, better you should put him in Canarsie because that's where the swamps are. So, the next day he comes out, Moses, and he comes upon two Israelites who are fighting. And he breaks up the fight. He says, what's with you guys? We're not the enemy. The Egyptians are the enemy. And instead of saying, oh, thank you, that was very kind. How does the Israelite mouth off at him?
What are you going to do, kill us now?
Like to kill the Egyptian? And Moses feared and said, surely this thing is known, which is how they talk in the Bible. And he lights out that night and hides with Jethro and so on. So Datan and Abiram are the two guys who were fighting in Egypt. And they escaped from Egypt with the Israelites, but they make it their life's mission to inform on Moses and make his life very uncomfortable indeed. And when they link up with Korach, it becomes an unstoppable combination. And I'll tell you, I personally believe, and I think the biblical scholars will go along with this too, that the Datan and Abiram episode is here and the Korach episode is there, but they brought it together because it packs more punch. Well, Moses tries to make shalom. That I'll give that to him. He goes and tries to talk nicely with Moses and Datan and Abiram. But Datan and Abiram answer him in the manner in which they are portrayed in the famous 1956 epic, The Ten Commandments, in which Edward G. Robinson played both Datan and Abiram, okay, which was not easy to do. Moses says, I wish to make peace with you. And Datan, as played by Edward G. Robinson, says, Moses, why are you bothering us, Moses? You have to get away, Moses. I'm not going to respect your leadership, Moses. Okay, hold on. Okay. Anyway. And God says, I tell you what, this is what we're going to do. You and Aaron, okay, as my chosen Levites, you show up tomorrow and carry a pan in which you put incense. If you've been to those New England type antique stores, you know they've always got a bed warmer. It's a copper pan on a wooden handle, and you put coals in it. And during those freezing Massachusetts, New Hampshire winters, you shove this between the mattress and the box spring, and you try not to set them on fire, and you warm up the bed in such a way. He tells God, says, you prepare pans, incense pans, in which to burn the incense. You show up tomorrow, and Korach and his 250 boys, let them show up as well. Everybody's got pans. And Moses says, okay, Korach, you want to do that? You bet. All right. So they show up the next day. And this, I always envision, as the scene from, oh gosh, what was it? Gary Cooper? High Noon, very good. Gary Cooper, he wore that white shirt the whole movie. It stayed white. He had his little string tie, which is always a good thing to wear a tie. Yeah, if you're going to shoot the bad guys. So he shows up, not forsake the old mind. It's all good. So
We do something wrong tonight.
Cooper is Moses and Aaron, and the guys are at the other end. No, I can't talk. Okay, they're at the other end of the street, and Moses says, God, if I'm in the right, you prove it to me, and if these yutzes are the right ones, I'll step aside. And what does God do?
Open the ground open.
Yes. Exactly, which is a lot. Okay, the ground opens up, and Korach and his boys go down alive to hell. Okay, and then the ground closes up, and Moses says, okay, I guess we know who's in charge. Oh, in the meantime, should you guys all collect those pans? See, this always bothered me about God. It's enough he kills them, but then he loots them. They take all the pans. What do you do with 250 pans? Or you use like 2 a year. Okay, but that was what happened. And this is not according to me. This is Rabbi Hertz in the back of the Chumash. He says, what happened to Korach and his boys? If you go, he says, an Arab showed me a place in the wilderness where there's a crack in the earth, not a big crack, little crack. And you put your ear to the crack, and you'll hear a distant voice going, Moses and his Torah are true, and we are liars. See? And what's the moral of the story?
But Moses and his Torah too, and they were liars.
Don't mess with the Almighty. Very logical story. Oh, yes.
Florida becomes simple.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. I remember that. It's shortly after we moved here. And just a little detail for you. How else does God prove that Aaron is the one? He has a staff, not people following him, but he has a stick. And what happens to the stick?
Sticks it in the ground and it grows.
Yes, it sprouts almonds, chocolate covered almonds. Barton. Chocolate covered almonds. To prove his designation as high priest is divinely ordained. And this is where all the Levites come in. When the Israelites bring offerings to the temple, the Levites get 10%. Okay, I guess you'd have to put together about 3 cows to get decent steak. Okay. Any questions? I think we're pretty cool with this. You got, I don't like Korah. I mean, you can't like Korah. I mean, he's got stuff. You
Don't
gotta
they
have
come
some-
back,
That's what?
later on in text someplace with Korak and all the guys who were swallowed up in the ground, that come back?
That's Karnak. That's the character that Johnny.
Different K word, J word.
With that hat. And what was his name? Who was his second banana?
Tim McMahon.
Yeah, he used to take out the questions. He was at this thing. I don't think Korah comes back. Yeah, Karnak is great. Okay. Let's open the ark, shall we? Okay, Paul in the back, Paul in the front, and Paul in the back, two Pauls, two Pauline. Okay, okay, please. All right. Two Pauls. All right, please rise.
Sounds like a Christian movie.
Yeah, there you go. Baruch hu Adonai Hamelech. You. After this, we can do all the leavings and all the shepherds. All right. Umavirion, this is 28, 4 lines from the bottom of the Hebrew. Umavirion, ume vilaila, matil venium uven laila, Adonai tzavahut shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamidim lach aleinu le'olam bo'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, amari v'arom. Page 29. Avatoran take Israel Amchata Torah Mitzvot Ukim Mishpatim Otanu Limadita Al Kein Adonai Eloheinu Shameinu Uvekumeinu Nasiach bechukecha, Yismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'b'mitzvotecha, Li'olam bo'ed. V'yein hayim, V'yorech yamim, V'yorech yameinu, U'vahem Deged Olam Balayla V'avatecha Al tasir mimenu V'olam Baruch atah Adonai Ohev amo Yisroel. Amen. Page 30, cover the eyes. Shema
Israel. Shem Kavod, Mahuto, Leolam.
You shall love Adonai your God, with all your heart, all your soul, and all your might. These words which I command you this day, you shall take to heart. Teach them diligently to your children. Recite them at home and away, night and day. Bind them as a sign upon your hand, and as a reminder above your eyes. Inscribe them upon the doorposts of your homes and on your gates. All right, continuing on page 32, middle of the page. Okayam l'fnei Moshe, Seili ha'nuviam, Ayim lo le'olam ba'ed, Mar, Ifadad et Yaakov, U'yalom yachazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Elohim Yisrael.
Amen.
33 is always the top left. We have prayer for those who are not well. And we'll read the lists and afterwards call for additional names. Jeff Stern, Refuah Shalema, Jack Backelman, Refuah Shalema, Dr. Marie Lipinski, Refuah Shalema, Inez Asher, Refuah Shalema, Norma Fogel, Refuah Shalema, baby Eli Jacob, Refuah Shalema, David Hershkovitz, Refuah Shalema, Lori Rose, Refuah Shalema, Fortune Fremonte, Refuah Shalema, Karen Monath, Refuah Shalema. Any other names?
Laura Morgan.
Refuah Shalema.
Lisa Saint,
Refuah Shalema.
Bill President,
Refuah Shalema.
Movie President,
Refuah Shalema.
Lauren Logan,
Refuah Shalema. Okay. All right. Let's read the English paragraph. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace. Guide us with your good counsel. Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us. A gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise you, Adonai, who spread the shelter of peace over us, over all his people Israel, and over Jerusalem and the entire world. Baruch atah Adonai, orei sukat shalom aleinu, yal kol amo Yisrael, yal Yerushalayim, yal kol haolam kulo. Amen. 34. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, Tashavat, so Tashavat, Lidor, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, Tashavat, so Tashavat. Lidor Talerito. Hey, you ben b'nei Yisrael, Oti liolam, Oti liolam, Oti liolam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael, Ashkamat, Lasot et Ashavat. Lidor Talerito. Sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'etaret v'shamru b'nei Yisrael hashabat sot et hashabat lidor talerito. Ubayom Ashvi Shabbat Vainafash, Shabbat Vainafash, Shabbat Vainafash, Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et Hashabat, Lasot et Hashabat, Lidor Talerito. Please rise, have Kaddish, bottom of 34. It Gadal, it Kadash, Shemera, Alvadi Brachirute, Yamlich Malchute, Bechaye, Olu breathe. Ve'ela, and call Birchata v'shirata,
Tush Bechata B'Lev Emata Amen.
35B to 38, after which you may be seated. All right, if you haven't finished the Amidah, please continue. Let's turn to page 38 at the top. Avraham, Yisrael, Asim, Yolam, Avraham, Yisrael, Asim, Yolam. Yatahu Melchadon, L'chol HaShalom. Yatahu Melchadon, L'chol HaShalom. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Asim, Yolam. Shalom Rav, Al Yisrael Amcha, Asim, Yolam. V'tov b'einecha livarech et Amcha Yisroel v'chol eil v'chol shah v'shlomecha. Am Yisrael Asim Yolam. Yisrael, see Page 47. At the bottom of the page, we've got this famous paragraph. It is a synopsis of the Amidah we just did. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu v'Eloheinu Eloheinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah U'el HaGadol Gidol V'Rava El Elyon Konei Shamayim V'Haaretz V'Ravo V'Varo Aye Beitim V'Mamaro U'el HaKadosh Shein Kamohu Amen Li'Amu Yom Shabbat Kacho Ivam Ratza Li'Haniach Lahem Ivam Ratza Li'Haniach Lahem V'Panav Navod V'Yirav V'Achai V'Nodeh Lishmo B'chol Yom Tamid Me'ein HaBra El Ahud Ahud Adon Ashalom V'Kadesh HaShabbat U'Mborech Shvi U'Meniach B'Kedusha Ve'amidu Shnei Onei Secher L'Maaseh V'Rei. Page 48. The bottom Kaddish. Yikra v'ikra Shem v'Vava Amen. Yalvad yivrach erutzevim le'chmachutei. V'chayecho v'mechon. V'chayecho beit Yisrael. Agalav v'zman karivim ru Amen. Yeishvei Rabba Memora. Yom Yishma Ipo Arvi Tomam Bitnase Itadar Vitale Vitalal Shemere Kudisha Brevu Ilam and Kovachatsa Vishirata Vishwata V'Nachamata Damiran Dilma Bimru Amen. About Loton Ubalton Yisrael Padamavo Vishmaya Bimru Amen. Shalom Rabba Min Shemaya I am a little of Israel Bimru Amen.
Say shalom, say shalom, aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Say shalom, say shalom, shalom, ve'al kol Yisrael. Say shalom. Yeah, say shalom. Yeah, for Israel.
Yeah, for Israel. Rise 49 is the Kiddush. Love this lovely bath here. When's the name of this bath?
That really push one.
And that now it's that comes in bad. Rimon and Rabban and Rabbatai, Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam,
Already for we have done. Amen. Adonai, Eloheinu melech olam, Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzavadim.
V'shamad v'sham v'yava, v'suri v'ilanu, v'yaron v'maseh v'reishi,
Yulam Tehila, V'kari Kodesh,
V'yam v'tziam v'tzvahim,
V'yam the Shabbat.
When we lived in North Carolina, there's a section called Jugtown, which was populated by hippies who made pottery. And that's where we picked up our first.
Actually 15 altogether.
largest.
But then
All right, page 51. Let's get Jerry to do honor us by opening the art. Oh, all right. Later the Shabbat, like the
okay, to do the let's say Rashid.
So,
To the Torah, to Yes.
To be seated, and now a few words from our wonderful temple president. What? Oh, okay. All right, Warner's College. Oversight there. Yitkadam, Yitkadam, Shemei Rabba, Amen. Yom Ha'divrach, Yerutei, V'yamlich, Malchutei. V'chayechon, V'yimechon, V'chayek, V'chol Beit Yisrael. Adalau, B'zman Kariv, V'yimu, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabba, Mevorach, V'yolam, U'leil Mayot. Yikorach, V'yishtabach, Yikoar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei, V'kudesha, B'richu. V'elam, V'yikol, V'yirchata, V'shirata. Kushbechata, V'nechamata. Aviran, V'yalma, V'yimru, Amen. Yehi Shalom, Rabba, Min Shemaya. Ayim Alinu, V'yal, V'yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Ose Shalom, V'yimramah. Hu Yaseh Shalom. V'yal, V'yisrael, V'yal, V'yisrael, V'yimru, Amen. Okay, thank you.
Good Shabbos, everyone, and welcome. Those of you who are here, welcome to the more than 12 people who are at home on Zoom. Good Shabbos to all of you. I'm glad that, in combination, we have a nice amount of people here, because I do have something very special to tell you. It's something, both are two very good things, but one thing I'm sure will impact some people immediately. Our wonderful cantor Javier has accepted another position at a synagogue closer to home in North Miami. And we are wishing him everything good and wonderful. This works best for his young family, for Galia's school, for everything. The heart of Temple is a very generous heart. And although we will miss him, we wish him everything good and wonderful. Now, this left us in an awful position last Saturday that resolved itself on Sunday. This is also Temple Shalom. I have the great pleasure of maintaining a friendship with a wonderful cantor in Boynton Beach. I had met her here 5 years ago when she originally came to apply for the job that Cantor Javier was, that we accepted Cantor Javier for. Her name is Cantor Anita Schubert. I called on Anita immediately and said to her, Anita, please, can you help? We don't have a cantor for high holidays, which was very frightening. And Cantor Anita said to me, you're my angel, Rita. You can have me if you want me. And she has the sweetest voice, the most stirring kol nidra. Her sweet voice matches her sweet disposition. And we now have Cantor Anita Schubert with us for high holidays specifically, and hopefully beyond. Next Saturday, July 1st, please come for the Saturday service, because we will be welcoming in Cantor Anita at that service, and she will be singing with Rabbi and with Cantor Javier. Now, how many synagogues can do that? There's only good feelings around, well wishes, wishes of joy, of success, of happiness, and for us too. So I wanted you all to know that. So if you can come and be with us on Saturday, July 1st for our Shabbat service, you'll have the joy of meeting and hearing Cantor Anita Schubert. This is, I don't know how else to express this to you, but this is my heartfelt joy to be able to introduce you to this extraordinary and wonderful cantor. So good Shabbos to all of you.
Thank you, Rita. We all do look forward to this new development, new age, if you will, in the history of Shabbat Shalom on Pompano Beach. All right, we'll finish up with the Adon Olam. Right, in keeping with our custom of using either Jewish tunes or tunes composed by Gentiles who were friendly to Israel, I'm going to Adon Olam, Hashem Allah, B'terem Kol, Yitzir Nivra, Yit Nasa, B'Betzol Kol, Ahazai Melech, Shimon Ikra V'Acharei Yitlok HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora Vehu Hayam Vehu Haveh Vehu Yiyem Etifara Vehu Melchai Bin Sheni Leham Shilo Lehachti Ra Ili Reshit Ili Tachli Velos Leham Isra Vehu Eli Echai Goali Vitzur Chavli V'Yetzara Vehu Nisi O manos li minakosi Omicron Diado Akiruchi Vietishan Mihira Vimruchi Iviati Adonai li Eloi Ra Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wondering night. What were the chances we would fall in love before the night was through? Something in your eyes was so inviting, something in your smile was so exciting, something in mine, something other. I think we should stop. Don't worry, Paul, tomorrow we'll be. The Lord bless you and keep you. Your heir, Adonai Panav Elacha B'Tunecha. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai Panav Elacha V'Yasem Lecha Shalom. The Lord turn his face into you, grant you peace. We'll say amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.